All right, I have 6:30. I'm called to order the regular meeting of the Cherry Hills Village City Council. Today is Tuesday, January 17th, 2023. A roll call of members, please.
Councillor Safavi?
Here.
Councillor Wheel?
Happy to be here.
Councillor Brown?
Here.
Councillor Gallagher?
Here.
Councillor Sheldon?
Here.
Councillor Blum?
Here.
If we could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You have audience participation. Earl Holland.
Just a few brief words to thank the outgoing members of council, Councillor Silvavi, Councillor Gallagher, and then Councillor Brown, who will be moving on and continuing on. I know something about what you guys have all been going through the last few years, and it's a difficult task, but the city has been blessed to have all of you, and I just wanted to express my thanks to all three of you, and then to you, Mayor Stewart, for what you've done for the last 4 years as well. Very much appreciated, and thank you very, very much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Earl. Next on the agenda is agenda item 5, approval of minutes. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, item agenda 6, presentations and remarks for outgoing city council. City manager?
Yes, I believe the first order of business is for council members who are still going to be sitting to have an opportunity to have any comments for outgoing council members.
Okay, start with Councillor Blum.
Mayor, thank you. I do want to thank you. You always call me first, so I appreciate that. Russell, I want to thank you for expanding our influence beyond Hampton by your participation in all those outside entities and agencies like CML, the mayoral conferences, the work on the traffic at I-25 in Bellevue. And you made sure that all these other municipalities knew that we were here. A lot of times they ignore us, but you made sure we were here. I think you need to be proud of your accomplishments during your tenure, as this council, the sitting council, did many good things. I want to thank you for your 4 years of leadership. We all appreciate your stewardship, no pun intended. And we want to wish you future accomplishments, and we know you're going to stay involved as you have over the last 15, 18 years. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you, Al.
Let me talk option. You're departing also. It's great to get to know you. You were on council during the pandemic, and you were able to keep us abreast of all the latest developments and preventions, which were very informative. I know you brought those up to date many times. We also want to thank you for your help. I know you work with the police department. I'm going to be the new liaison, and I'll work with the chief just as you did. We want to wish you luck with all your future endeavors, as I know there's many, and keep us up to date then if you can. Come back and see us and keep us abreast with the latest developments. Thank you, Austin. Last, Mike. I believe I'm the only one that ever calls you Mikey, but I look to you somewhat as a mentor for me on council, as I always look to your wise counsel on many of the issues that we've had to deal with, which are substantial over the last 4 years. Having grown up in the village, your insights have been invaluable and will be greatly missed on this council, because I think that some of the insights you brought, knowing the history, was something that none of us had the background to bring up. You taught me that we must look and study each issue before we act. And I think a number of the issues you and I have talked about over the years, we spent a lot of time, and I think your insights were very valuable, and I really appreciate it. I, for one, will miss your wise counsel. I hope you stay in touch. I know that with more free time, you'll be able to do things like run 50-mile races with my brother. Thanks, Mike.
Well, so it's it's a little funny that Al calls me up a few days ago and says, "What are you writing about these guys? What are you going to say about these guys?" And I gave him a little insight as to what I had prepared for the three of you, and he just basically said it all. So. Option, it has been a pleasure serving with you the last 4 years. I appreciate the keen insight that you have provided to council and your work with the police department as well. I wish you and your family the very best, and I wish you the best in your business endeavors moving forward. I know you've got a lot on your plate, and I'm excited to see where you take it. So good luck and congratulations on your service, and thank you. Mayor, thank you for your leadership. We have accomplished a number of important initiatives during your time as mayor, including, but not limited to, the formation of new GIDs, undergrounding utilities, a new master plan, progressing towards a stormwater conveyance system, the opening of the east side of Quincy Farm, January 1. Your service to the community has been very important, but some of the small things should not be overlooked as well. All the time that you've met with those outside agencies, looking out for the village's best interests, we appreciate that. Your weekly mayor's hours that you've kept here at City Hall, I think we all appreciate that. The countless meetings you had with residents and small businesses during COVID, the churches and clubs of our community, I think we all appreciate that. I know our citizens appreciate what you've done, and I wish you the best of luck in all your future endeavors. Mike, for the last 6 years that I've sat in this chair, the first 2 you were over there, and for the last 4 you've been right here next to me. I did a little math, and approximately twice a month, with each meeting lasting a couple hours, that's somewhere around 250 or 300 hours of time we've spent together. We've shared policy positions, visions for the village, retreats, dinners. We've shared honeys and jams and wild game together. Because of our vision of this city is similar, we've mostly voted the same on many issues over the years together, but occasionally you or sometimes me have been brave enough to vote a different way. And I applaud you for that, and I admire you for that. I've always considered myself prepared for my work, prepared for council, prepared when I travel. But when I've shown up here the last 4 years and sat next to Mike, and I look at my notes from my packet, and then I look over at his notes, and he has beat me up and down with his notes. He has read every document, not once but twice. He's come in with all of his staff memos and meticulous notes all over the place. You taught me many things over the years about how to best represent the city. And for that, I thank you. I wish you and Ann and your family the best in life moving forward.
Thank you, Councilor Sheldon. Councilor Brown.
Mike, do you want to say? Okay, yeah. Well, ditto to all of that, and to add on, Option, I also would like to thank you for your service over the past years. You've brought a new and different perspective to this council, and it's greatly appreciated, and I too wish you the best of luck. I know you have some exciting endeavors in front of you, so good luck with that. Mayor, thank you as well to you. You have given your heart and soul to this city. You've served with all of the best intentions. We haven't always agreed, but I know that your heart's in the right place, and you've always done what you thought was in the best interest of Cherry Hills Village. So thank you for that. And Mike, we started this journey kind of together 8 years ago. You're a friend, you're a mentor, you're a colleague, but most importantly, I've always looked at you as the bellwether. I think you have a knowledge and an intimacy with this community that no one else I've ever encountered has. And I look to you, when you voice your opinion, it carries the full weight of our community behind it. And so I really appreciate the opportunity to serve with you, to go through the experiences that we've gone through together. You'll be greatly missed.
Councilor Wheel.
Thank you. Part of the problem sitting in this chair is all the good stuff's taken by the time it gets to me. But absolutely terrific accomplishments. Mike, I would certainly echo the other comments that have been made, and at the same time, I've found you. I've watched over the 6 years that we've served together and learned a lot, and I appreciate that. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention 3A. Some people might take a look at the end of a term and say, well, I've got a few months left and, I might as well kick back a bit, but not Mike. We had an important issue in front of the city and a campaign to make that a reality, and Mike was running through the finish line, full speed, among the stronger contributors to that whole effort, so I certainly am grateful for that. Absolutely, and Russell, and good luck as well, and I have your number when I need some calm, cool advice and perspective, And Russell, we go back actually before council. In fact, when my son was in Boy Scouts, and you've of course been very active in scouting as well as, in addition to city government and all of that, and are a significant part of the reason that I'm sitting here today, chatting and learning about what council was like and whether it would be a good fit. So I appreciate that a lot as well, and I certainly would echo I am amazed at the amount of time that you spend on all the different committees and participating and really giving the city that visibility above and beyond, which is terrific. So good luck as well. And Afshin, what can I say? We're neighbors here for several years. You've been a good neighbor. I've enjoyed the informal chats, and at the same time, you do come at it with a little different perspective, and I think that that's part of the magic. Getting different people with different perspectives to share those ideas and get a better outcome than any one of them would have had on their own. So, been fun, and good luck as well.
Thank you. Ashford.
So, first of all, I want to go ahead and address my fellow councilmen and women. It has been amazing serving along with you. I think sometimes, or most of the time, I've been the outlier, voting very different. And along the way, I've actually got to know you all, got to respect you, and got to respect the way things are done in the U.S., which through these differences, we actually come up with what is the best solution to move forward. So for that, I really have a great appreciation. I appreciate actually items that we were not looking at them the same way, and we were viewing them differently, and we came to understanding as what the view is from the other person's perspective. So thank you. I've enjoyed, again, interacting with each one of you here and outside council. I know, Mike, initially you spent quite a bit of time with me one-on-one over pizza or other things to tell me, hey, just be careful with this and that, and I appreciate all of that. Randy, I think, you have spent quite a bit of time with me over the sushi place, and, we again, shared some ideas, views. Again, thank you all. Mayor, I cannot, I'm honored to have, again, served with you. I just summarize Russell in one word: integrity. That's how I view you when I think about, again, serving with you for 4 years. City staff, you guys are awesome. You are what makes, coming here, making this job easy. Because by the time we get over here, you've already done 99% of the work for us, and telling us, what we need to know to make the best decision. So thank you again. I'm looking at every single one of you. Thank you very much. In particular, I do want to go ahead and actually also say thank you to our chief of police as well as our entire police department. These are dedicated people, and they're not they go beyond what is required of a police department, and I appreciate that for our city. And the last thing I want to say is thank you to our citizens. I cannot believe you put your trust in me for 4 years, but thank you. No, all jokes aside, this city is blessed for so many reasons, and one of it is that amazing group of citizens that live in this city. This is a unique place, and that is why you see folks running to be mayors and councilmen and women, because they all care about this community, and we want to keep it the way it is. With that, I have another 20 minutes of a speech, but I'm going to cut it short for tonight. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Mike. Oftentimes my comments are short, and tonight is going to be no different. And it is, I will miss this working group. And when I say this working group, it's all of you individuals up here, and how we work together, and what you don't see are the phone calls trying to understand issues, and it's just been a real pleasure and honor to work with quality people. And the rest of that working group are the people, staff, and you're top notch, and we'll miss that. I think of the nights here, we've got a good audience. There are nights where there's no one out there. And we were the working group, and and we got things done. And so for that, I'm grateful. I wish the best to our current council mayor, and then our incoming council that will be seated tonight. You guys it's set up for success, and the city will be in good shape moving forward. I want to just recognize the boards, people who sit on the boards and commissions. We're all volunteers, and that's the neat part about this, is that no one's getting paid, and we're doing this because we love this community, and it's out of service that we do it. And so I just want to recognize those people and the jobs that make our jobs really easier with their research and feedback to us. And then finally, I want to thank my family, who has been so supportive of me over these 8 years. I'm going to hop out of this seat. Susan's going to jump into one of these seats up here in my position, but I will look incredibly fondly on this time serving the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. I'm just going to say, I'll be short too, so I'll get home because of the storm tonight, but make sure we get out of here. But I have a few words to say. First, I want to say it has been a profound honor and privilege to serve as mayor of Cherry Hills Village and to serve as on council. I've been on council now and mayor for 12 years, and we've had lots of different council members, and they've all been, people should know that everyone who's ever served on council to a person does it with the best interest and at heart. Everybody should know that really everybody who serves here and everybody who served that I've seen on council has really the best interest. We may not agree all the time. That's okay. Actually, it's better, if we don't agree all the time, because we can talk about things. But everybody has the best interest of the city at heart. And it is all volunteer, as you said, which is, I think it's the best way to go. I think we better not paid than we would be if we had a paid. So I think that all of our citizens are proud of all of you for all of you've done. And we have done a lot. As you mentioned, we've done a lot at undergrounding and all of those things. The code, you didn't mention the code development, which is a huge deal. It's done kind of in the background. The average citizen may not know, but the average builder knows about it, and a person trying to build here knows. So there's been a lot done behind the scenes on the Highline Canal and on open space, and just all kinds of things that are done that people don't know about, but are really important that get done because there are people up here who really care about our village. Just go down, and get down the line here, Al, your financial acumen has been terrific. I mean, we've really relied on him to look at our budget, to look at our numbers and our finances, and that's been real expertise. Councilor Sheldon has brought real expertise in development based upon his knowledge, and visions to the code has been invaluable, and bringing that expertise to it. Michael, I think what people said about you is true. An all-around kind of Renaissance man who really understands everything, but particularly the trails and parks and trails was really, you brought huge expertise to that and good thoughts to that. And Mayor Pro Tem, I'll say that people may not realize that Mayor Pro Tem and the council and I and the mayor and city manager meet every week. We've met every week for the last 4 years on Thursdays to talk about, plan the agenda and talk about things in the village. So thank you for all your able and hard work as Mayor Pro Tem. Councilor Wheel, again, 2A is huge. I mean, maybe the biggest thing that has happened in this village for 15, 20 years or ever, really putting really our financial situation, giving some security to it for the future as we see it. And Ashton, what can I say, my dear friend, you have brought unique perspectives, as I have mentioned, to our considerations, and really bright and thoughtful and terrific understanding, kind of thinking out of the box and about things that have really swayed people. It's really been appreciated how you're an independent thinker. Really appreciate all you've done. I wanted to thank the staff too. I've said I think that we have the best staff of any city in Colorado. I mean, you guys are terrific from top to bottom. I can't say enough about you. And again, I think you go underappreciated, and it's not known in the community about what a great job you do. I've seen it though because I worked with you, right? But and the council knows about how good you are. But it really is something that's the community really needs to be proud of it. I really need to get the word out about how good you are. I do think those people who come in and get treated by the city, the service is terrific, and people call me and say what terrific service we get. But I want to tell everybody in the audience tonight that this is an extraordinarily capable and qualified, and they get the most done with the least amount. I mean, from Jay on the roads, again, most from the least, everybody here really is asked to produce, because it's such a small group of staff, they're asked to do all kinds of things outside of their normal, what you normally think that they might be doing. So I know that, and you're appreciated, and thank you for all you've done. And that's it. Thank you really just to you all and all the voters for giving me the opportunity to serve the community for 12 years. It's been a real pleasure. It's not a thankless job. It's actually a very thankful job, but it's a job that it has its own thanks by being able to serve and to serve our citizens and look out and make the best city possible, and make a great place for us to live and our children to live and our grandchildren to live. So thank you all for all your support. Thanks to all the volunteers, as Mike said, out there for all you've done, because you're the key to this. And I appreciate all the support I've gotten through the years. Now, back to the city manager.
So we are going to take a picture, one last picture with this current council configuration. However, as Don Pardo would say, I do have a few parting gifts. So I'm going to call the three of you down one at a time. I may have a sentence or two of thanks for you individually as well. But I am going to ask, once you receive it, if you could just stay down here, and then when we're done with those three folks, the rest of council come on down, and then we'll have an opportunity for pictures, etc. Does that sound good? So first up, I'm going to actually come out here. First is Councilor Safavi, if you want to come on down. I've already got fingerprints on it, so I apologize for that. But this is for you. I got to tell you, my father-in-law is Persian, and so we've shared that from the beginning. But I don't think there's a council person here who has consistently asked, have we heard from the residents? Have we asked the residents what they think? What do the neighbors think? No one has been more attuned to that than you. And it's It's a really valuable thing that we all need to keep in mind even after you're gone. We'll have to channel our inner action to make sure that we are constantly remembering what are our residents going to think about a particular issue we may be discussing. I've really enjoyed working with you. You will be missed, so thank you. Mike? Mike, I've also got fingerprints on yours. I apologize. There you go. The phrase pillar in a community, a real pillar of the community, is a phrase that often gets used so much that it loses its meaning. It's almost an empty phrase. I'm going to ask you all to not do that and think about what that really means to be a pillar of the community. You know, when you think of a pillar, it's there supporting. It's supporting the structure. And in this case, Mike is constantly supporting this community. I dare you to think of a time when that is not what Mike is known for. He has been tireless with his support for this community. And you know, if there is an old building that's there and it starts to fall down, what's the one thing that still stands after all the erosion and the weathering? And it's the pillar. That pillar is still there. And that's also Mike, standing firm, standing true, standing strong in the face of all sorts of adversity that have come his way for the last 8 years. Mike, I'm going to miss you. You have been so supportive of me. You've been so supportive of staff, and you will be missed. Thank you for all you've done. Mayor? I've got fingerprints on this too, but no one will know. So, Mr. Mayor, you know, you've been the only mayor that I've had as a city manager. And I will tell all of you that for a successful city organization, the relationship between the mayor and the city manager is a very critical relationship. And how well they work together often cascades down throughout the city staff, but also through our residents and the rest of city council. And I really can't tell you how much I valued the guidance that you've provided me, the direction you've provided me. And I think we've developed a relationship that has strengthened and supported all of those important functions that we have, whether it's with staff, whether it's the rest of council. You know, obviously, I probably talk more with you than I do the rest of council members. No offense, but we do meet a lot, and you have regular office hours, and so we see each other multiple times every week. And this community is going to miss you at leading it, whether it's as a city council person or a mayor. And I appreciate everything you've done for the community, but also for me. So for you, we have a gavel. When you wake up in the middle of the night, having cold sweats, remembering all those times, you can reach over and grab this, and you can whack it, and then get it out of your system, and you can go back to your council retirement. There you go. Thank you. So, council members, if the rest of you would come down, we can do some pictures. Where would you like us to stand? Right there. Yeah, you should stand in the order you sit, right? Thank you, guys. boxes. That's very nice. The key was to be short. How do you be so short? Because I don't want him to have to stand down there forever.
All right, we'll call the meeting back to order, please. You want us to come down? Okay.
All right, yep. Okay. So raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Katie Brown,
I, Katie Brown,
do solemnly, sincerely, and truly declare and affirm
do solemnly, sincerely, and truly declare and affirm
that I will support and enforce the constitutions and laws of the United States of America and of the state of Colorado,
that I will support and enforce the constitutions and laws of the United States of America and of the state of Colorado,
and the charter and ordinances of the city of Cherry Hills Village,
and the charter and ordinances of the city of Cherry Hills Village,
and shall faithfully perform to the best of my abilities
and shall faithfully perform to the best of my abilities
the duties of the office of mayor upon which I am about to enter.
the duties of the office of mayor upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations. And our new council members? Do you all put together?
Mayor, congratulations.
All right, everyone raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Robert Eber,
Do solemnly, sincerely, and truly declare and affirm
do solemnly, sincerely, and truly declare and affirm
that I will support and enforce the constitutions and laws of the United States of America and of the state of Colorado,
that I will support and enforce the constitutions and laws of the United States of America and the state of Colorado,
and the charter and ordinances of the city of Cherry Hills Village,
and the charter and ordinances of the city of Cherry Hills Village,
and shall faithfully perform to the best of my abilities
and shall faithfully perform to the best of my abilities
the duties of the office of council member upon which I am about to enter.
the duties of the office of council member upon which I am about to enter.
That sounds like a great idea.
Let's do it now.
Chris, no presents for us?
Yes. First one is Council Bill. No,
Yeah.
Katie, who has to get the cookies?
I guess that's gonna be Susan, just because she's closest to the cookies. Getting closer, that's not great.
And new members, I put something for you guys to sign. Okay, so it is 7:10, and I will call to order the meeting of the new city council.
Counselor Eber,
Present.
Counselor Holman,
Here.
Counselor Wheel,
Happy to be here.
Counselor Sheldon,
Here.
Counselor Blum,
Here.
Counselor McGuire.
Present. The first action item is the appointment of the mayor pro tem. The appointment of the mayor pro tem is made by the council members. So I would entertain a nomination.
I move to appoint Randy Wheel as mayor pro tem.
And I'd like to second that nomination.
So I have a nomination for Randy Wheel and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Congratulations, Randy. You'll make a wonderful mayor pro tem. Now we have audience participation. And we have Mark Griffin.
Good evening, Mayor, new City Council. Congratulations. We're glad to have you. Staff. Mark Griffin, 3236 Cherry Ridge Road, my wife Jan. We represent the Cherry Hills Village Police Foundation, which is alive and well and prospering. We're gaining assets at a very rapid pace, primarily through the partnership that I've developed with the chief, who is constantly amazing me with his intuition, his thoughtfulness, his forward thinking, and his partnership. Commensurate with that, I'd like to announce tonight that a very old Cherry Hills Village Police Foundation, Cherry Hills Village Family Foundation has given us a $25,000 immediate use donation through negotiations with Chief and I and the foundation. This is a very fantastic donation, which has to be used immediately during the year 2023. Now, how does that boil out? If you're familiar with foundations, normally they take their corpus, which is their assets, and they give away 5% of that per year. A $25,000 immediate use donation equates to $500,000 in corpus. That's very significant. We're hoping this is going to be a continuing year-to-year donation because of their dedication to Cherry Hills Village. Very old family here. Along with that, in negotiations with Chief, we are going to completely revamp the gymnasium over in the joint facility with all new equipment, state-of-the-art, and that will be taking up quite a bit of the donation. And in addition to that, probably the rest of it will be go to our health and wellness initiative for our officers, which is very significant. And I think Chief has probably already told you about that. So that's my news tonight, and the board from the Police Foundation approved all this, and we'll be writing checks very shortly. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you for that very exciting announcement, and thank you so much for your hard work on behalf of Cherry Hills Village and the Police Foundation.
Thank you. Bye.
Reports from members of city boards and commissions. Seeing none, we move on to the consent agenda. Randy, that's you.
I'm new at this. Move to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Moving on to new business. We have a public hearing. So since this is a first council meeting for some of us, and we have audience members this time, just as a reminder, public hearing, we have an application before us. This application will be considered based upon the criteria that are outlined for the application. So with that, an application for approving a floodplain variance pertaining to property located at 110 Glenmore Drive in the Glenmore Country Club. I will open the public hearing at 7:16 p.m.
Mayor, I would like to disclose that I am both a member and a resident of Glenmore, and I have no problem making a decision in this case, a complete unbiased decision. So I just needed to disclose it.
Thank you. Mr. Workman.
Good evening, Mayor Brown, and congratulations on your first meeting as mayor. Congratulations to Councilman Eber, Councilman Holland, and Councilwoman McGuire. We are excited to have you guys. And I'm particularly excited to be the first public hearing that you have, so congratulations. So as Mayor Brown just mentioned, the application before you this evening is a floodplain variance requested by the Glenmore Country Club. I would like to take the opportunity to introduce someone you may not know, which is Mr. Will Wilhelm from Kimley Horn. That was the city's engineering consultant last year when the application was submitted. He and his team did do the technical review of the analysis, and so if there are some technical questions, we'll likely invite Will to the podium to speak. I would also like to note that the applicant has provided the necessary affidavits verifying that all public notification requirements have been met. For those of you that may not know, Glenmore Country Club is located just north of East Bellevue Avenue. The actual course itself is outlined in the red polygon there. It's about 58 acres in size, and you'll see within the center of the site there's a variety of blue, red, and purple colors. That is the boundaries of the floodplain on the subject property. Those little red circles, those clouds, those are the two areas that are proposed for work as part of the application. Before I get too far into it, I do want to pause for a moment and just introduce some terms that you may hear this evening related to floodplains. The first is a base flood. That means a flood having a 1% chance of being equaled or exceeded in any given year. So there's a 1% chance that the base flood would occur in any given year. A base flood elevation is the elevation of surface water that results from a flood in that 1% chance in any given year. A floodplain is any land area susceptible to being inundated by floodwaters from any source. A floodway is the channel of a river or other water course and the adjacent land areas that must be reserved in order to discharge the base flood without cumulatively increasing the water surface elevation more than a designated height. And finally, a no-rise certificate. A no-rise certificate is a document that's signed and stamped by an engineer registered in the state of Colorado with supporting analysis that's reviewed by our consultant that the proposed scope of work does not increase that base flood elevation in times of flooding. So with that, we will jump into the specifics of the request. The scope of work that's proposed in this application is really a two-parter. The first is the expansions of the greens around holes number 7 and number 13, indicated on the map. The expansion, the second part of that is the expansion includes the addition of fill at each location and the reconstruction of old and deteriorating bulkheads and retaining walls. The purpose of this work is to improve the stability of the bulkheads as well as play and functionality of the course for the members. This was detailed in your packet, but this is intended to give an illustration of the proposed work. The red line is the existing bulkhead, and the blue line is the new bulkhead location. The area between is the area that would receive the fill. And this is similar for hole number 13. Again, the red line is the existing bulkhead, the blue line is the new bulkhead, and the area in between is where the fill would be located. In reviewing these sorts of applications, as Mayor Brown alluded to, there are a series of criteria that we as staff review in these applications, as well as our consultant. I am going to go through these briefly. They were detailed in your packet for this evening. But the first place where we go to for this type of floodplain variance is section 16.7530. There are 4 criteria there. That first criteria is the analysis for that's provided in a slide here in just a moment. The second one there, the future stability of the bulkheads will be improved with this work, and in order to achieve the stability of the bulkheads and course functionality, the minimum has been proposed. The third criteria actually has three subparts. Essentially, it is staff's determination, and the Planning and Zoning Commission concurred, that there's good and sufficient cause to stabilize the bulkheads. Not granting the variance may lead to bulkhead failure of the underlying soil, and the applicant has provided their no-rise certificate. And then the fourth and final one, the proposed structures in this particular application do not require insurance, therefore it is not applicable. The next section basically relates to two types of work within the floodplain specifically, that is bank stabilization and pond or lake dredging. Neither of those are occurring, so neither of those are applicable for the application this evening. The third and final section is 16.7-360E. The first criteria there basically references back to a previous part of the code, the first code slide that was presented. The second one there is a list of criteria to consider when reviewing a floodplain variance. I'll run through these briefly. There's no change to the danger to life and property as a result of this work. There are no facilities proposed. The design of the bulkheads are signed off by a professional engineer registered in the state of Colorado and were reviewed by Kinley Horn. There's no change to the existing use. There's no change to safety of access. There's no change to cost of providing governmental services. The applicant has provided a no-rise certificate. Letter H is not applicable, as this is not a waterfront location. The bulkheads must be placed in a floodplain, as that is where they were originally placed and are currently located, and could not be relocated without major changes to the design and layout of the existing course. The continued use of the property as a golf course is consistent with the city's master plan. So those are the sections of code that we analyze when we look at a floodplain variance. As part of the public hearing process, the applicant is required to go through a two-step process. The first step in that is a public hearing before the city's Planning and Zoning Commission. That was held regarding this application on December 13th of last year. They asked some questions about sanitary sewer infrastructure in the area and if the club still uses water from the Highline Canal. Staff was able to confirm that the applicable sewer entity was a referral partner on this application and stated that there were no conflicts. And the applicant was able to confirm that they do not use water from the canal. At the end of that public hearing, the Planning and Zoning Commission voted 4-0 to recommend council approve the application, subject to the one condition. So with that, I won't read this verbatim, but the recommended motion was contained in your packets. It's also written on the screen here tonight, but the recommendation is to approve Resolution 5, Series 2023, subject to the one condition. That concludes staff's report, but certainly we are available for any questions you may have. The applicant is also here and available for questions you may have for them. Thank you.
So to make sure everyone knows, the way this will work is that staff has made their presentation. Now council will have the opportunity to ask questions of staff. Then the applicant has an opportunity to make a presentation. Council can then ask questions of the applicant. And then we'll have public comment if there is any. And then finally, at that conclusion, a motion, if there's a motion to come forward, that would be the time. So right now, are there any questions for staff?
Yeah, I've got a question. First of all, I'd like to compliment the applicant and staff for a very thorough presentation. It was very good. And my question maybe more is just in terms of edification. But as you pointed out, in 16.7.360C, the first two requirements are all with regard to banks. And throughout this, it talks about the bulkheads and retaining walls, which are on the ponds, on a body of water. So clearly, there must be a difference between a bank and a bulkhead or retaining wall. And that's my question. Is there, because I looked also for definitions, I couldn't find any. So I'd just like to kind of know, is in fact that true, that there is a difference between a bulkhead or retaining wall that is next to a body of water and a bank?
Good question, Councilor Holland. I look forward to your questions in the future. The short answer to that is yes.
Not that he did on P&Z, but no.
The short answer to that is yes. That bank is a bank for the pond on the facility. What this section is intended to regulate is the bank of a waterway, a riverbed, a riverbank, something of that. So they are different types of banks, and this section applies to bank stabilization for a waterway.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Any other questions for staff?
Please.
Rob?
Wanted to try and, on the criteria that it listed, the three different ones on the slide before this one, on number 3, B, about hardship and exceptional hardship, I wanted to ask you a little bit more about what is considered to be an exceptional hardship versus what factors make up exceptional hardship, I guess.
Well, within the code, you won't find a definition for exceptional hardship, so there is a bit of subjectivity there. And each application you see is going to be a little bit different. Different applications may lead to a different exceptional hardship. The exceptional hardship in this particular set of circumstances is that failure to replace those bulkheads may result in the underlying failure of the soil and thereby lead to further issues with the irrigation ponds. So without being able to do this work, the soils could fail and the irrigation ponds could impact other parts of the property.
And there's no other alternative in terms of annual maintenance that could be done to preserve so that that doesn't happen?
I would offer that the applicant can offer an answer to a portion of that. What was indicated in the information that was provided to staff and subsequently to council is that these bulkheads are 20 years in age, and any maintenance would be, there's more benefit from a long-term stability as well as a financial benefit to replacing the bulkheads rather than doing maintenance on them.
Okay. And I guess the other question I've got for you is, are we supposed to consider financial as a criteria of hardship?
There's not a direct correlation to a financial hardship within a floodplain variance.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, the applicant welcome. Please state your name and address for the record and then make your presentation. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Ryan Norris, 2861 South Harrison Street. I just welcome the new council and the new council members, and thank Paul for his work with me and the club here. I'm the general manager at Glenmore Country Club, and we really need to get this work done to help stabilize these walls. These walls are deteriorating. They are going to eventually collapse. That's generally what happens after many years of trying to work with them and the soil surrounding them. They are bodies of water. We have one of the bodies of water for irrigation. The rest is just basically a pass-through on our property. We have storage rights to these, and we send the water downstream through those channels. We are hopeful that the council will approve this variance for us so we can continue on with the work, and that's all I have for you this evening.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions for the applicant?
Quick one. This might be a technical question for the engineer, but I guess what I am looking at is that the bulkheads are being pushed out into areas currently occupied by water. My question is how do we have a no rise? Because it seems like we are making the volume of, or space for the same volume of water to be less.
The engineer may be able to answer that. I could probably say that currently there is water in its place, so we're basically just moving that water, replacing it with soil. It's not becoming, it's not causing any type of rise difference or at all. So you might be able to.
I guess my question is, where is that water going?
Thank you.
So, hey, welcome to the new council, Mayor Brown, and great to be here tonight. The applicant is correct. When we look at these sorts of application, the applicant provides a detailed model that's compliant with the Federal Emergency Management Association, FEMA, and their criteria. because there is existing water there now and that water's there before the flood would start, that water's almost acting like ground. So when the flood comes down through, the thousands of acres that's feeding down through the course, it would see that water that's already there as equivalent to ground and pass through. So now that water that's pond that never, is always there becomes ground, and so the flood doesn't change. Is that clear? So whether that's water or soil, when the flood starts, it just has to go over it, and it's not providing any conveyance. It's like a bathtub already being full. If you add more water to it, then it's going to spill out. Whether that bathtub was full of concrete or full of water, you add the same amount of water, it'll spill out.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions for the applicant? No, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, public comment. Is there anyone here to? Thank you. There is no one signed up to speak on this item, but we don't stand too much on formality here. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak to this application? Seeing none, I will close. Oh, no, we're going to deliberate first. Sorry. So it is now open to discussion amongst the council. Does anyone have any comments they wish to share?
I do have one question, and I'm not certain when it should be made. I have a question on the resolution and the wording in the resolution. Would that be after, or go ahead and do it now? And it's with regard to the condition that was added. This sounds kind of stupid, but at the conclusion of the project, the applicant will provide as-built drawings to ensure the construction was consistent with the approved plans. And I've seen these kinds of things before on commissions that I've been on. And it obviously assumes that the department will look at that and confirm it. Will they in fact look at it, confirm it, and then put a memorandum or something in the file so noting and so confirming?
That's correct. As part of our CRS rating, our community rating system through the FEMA program, we're required to document the project all the way through the process, including at the end verifying that it met the requirements and noting that in the floodplain variance file.
Terrific. Thank you.
Katie?
Yeah.
I have one question that, if I may, it's not exactly floodplain related, but it's Glenmore related.
No, the time for questions was earlier, Dan.
I'm just curious. I thought the red outlined area here, Paul, is 110 Glenmore Drive, 58 acres. The rest of the golf course is all made up of lots. Is that correct? The lots contain all the rest of the acreage?
That's correct, and they are encumbered by a recreation easement.
What is that right there then? It doesn't appear to be contiguous to a lot itself, and I noticed it the other night when I was reading my packet. I just don't know.
In the left-hand side of the packet there, the little circle.
Contiguous to somebody's lot? That's Glenmore property.
That's Glenmore property as well. When you click on the polygon, it didn't grab that polygon as well, but it is part of. It's the little kind of oval shape in the kind of left hand.
When you say it's Glenmore property, it's part of the 110 Glenmore Drive address?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
That was all.
Sorry. Good catch.
Thank you.
Any other comments, questions?
I guess with respect to the criteria that our packet says the floodplain variance is only issued upon showing of three factors that, Paul, you spoke about earlier. The second one is determination that failure to grant the variance would result in exceptional hardship to the applicant. Granted, I'm all of about 8 minutes old at this job, but I'm kind of wondering a little bit about how we define exceptional, because the word exceptional obviously must mean something. It must mean that there's no other way that we can do what it is that merits kind of having this variance be granted. And I guess my question is they're 20 years old, but we had a situation where maintenance was done over time, or I'm just not sure that exceptional hardship is sort of a lack of doing O&M or oversight and maintenance on a project is equated to an exceptional hardship. I'm having a little bit of a hard time with that concept of an exceptional hardship. So I guess I'm looking out to my fellow council members for a little help on that.
Yeah, I'd have a comment on that. And I see where you're coming from, but at the same time, you know, if something that you had at that point in time and then was going to collapse or be destroyed as a result of not doing the work associated with the permit, would you not find, you know, for instance, if it was a house and you needed to do something and it required a permit associated to do that, and if without the work, the house would collapse, would that not be considered to be an exceptional hardship? I basically see it as an exceptional hardship that it isn't. The question is with regard to, if there was one, with regard to the additional fill that needs to be added. In other words, the hardship is associated with those ties. It's associated with the embankment and stabilization at this point in time. That without replacing that and doing those, you'd have all kinds of soil subsidence and other issues associated with it. And then, since you're doing it, hey, we're going ahead and expanding to relieve some pinch points. If there was a question, it would be with that. From my perspective, I kind of see it going, well, you're kind of doing it. Why not just take care of the whole thing at once? But the hardship would be by not replacing the embankment. At least that's my view. I don't know if anybody else thinks.
Any other thoughts on that question?
I think what we've seen in the past is that the hardship topic comes up a lot when we're looking at a swimming pool addition in a backyard and whether or not by not granting a floodplain variance, we would be putting that owner into a hardship situation by not allowing them to build their pool. I'm not sure it's exactly the same here, but to me, there's a difference between what's happening here. This is not for a gain, monetary gain, or any other kind of gain other than stabilizing the bank that's eroding. And you know, I called Paul and asked him about a few questions about this report, and he reported that the Mr. Wilhelm from Kimley is a foremost expert in this particular topic, and if he provided us his blessing and he's our consultant, outgoing albeit, right? Kimley Horn is outgoing for your benefit. We've signed a new contract with a different firm, but having that consultant review this and review the criteria, I think it gives us it gives me a fair amount of comfort if he's saying that this would create a hardship. I can do nothing but, I guess, agree with that because he's the foremost expert in the field in the city. So that's kind of where I come down on it.
I guess one other thing, Madam Mayor, I would say, though, that your questions are right on the money, though. Because the issue is, and having served on Board of Adjustment Appeals years ago, variances are, by statute, an extreme remedy. An extreme remedy. And hardship always comes up in terms of, well, what does that really mean? And it is something that I know the Board of Adjustment has always struggled with. We struggle with it on planning and zoning, and we have struggled with it over and over. It is something that, quite frankly, becomes very, very subjective from time to time, and that can cause issues. So I think your question is well-founded. But in this case, my view is that I think that it is an extreme hardship. So,
and I think that I appreciate that. Thank you for the thoughts. You know, as I'm moving forward, your comment, Councilor Holland, that it's an extreme measure and I think rarely to be granted unless the conditions are shown, leads us to believe that it really is a tool for the truly exceptional situation. And, you know, I guess with respect to Councilor Shelton, that swimming pools, I don't think there's any right that anybody has to a swimming pool. That's why it may not be exactly the same. But I think what I take away from this is that you can't create kind of your own hardship by doing something one way or the other, or a lack of action to control to the point that we now have this erosion condition. That is now the basis upon which to make an argument of exceptional hardship. I understand that. I think that word exceptional is a tough one. I appreciate the thoughts and comment. I think also I will support this, but I think it truly is a situation where what you will be hearing from this end of the table is that this is really a rare item that we will be finding exceptional hardship. I mean, the word exceptional really does exist for a reason. Thank you.
Hey, Rob, look at, in the back of our packets is council communication packet with police and community development and stuff. In there are quasi-judicial cases that are in the queue, if you will, in some form or another. In addition to Glenmore's, there are 3 additional floodplain variances that are at some point going to be in front of us. So it brings up a good point. You bring up a very good point. What qualifies and what doesn't, and I guess we'll have to take them one at a time.
And that's a great, just to interject for a moment, if you recall from orientation, these are the matters that we are aware of, and they are in a quasi-judicial state, and if anyone contacts anyone to discuss that, we're not at liberty to discuss that now. So that's great. Please take a look at that. Are there any other comments on this application? Randy, Susan, Al, anybody? Okay, well, I would entertain a motion.
I move to approve Resolution 5, Series 2023, a resolution approving a floodplain variance pertaining to property located at 110 Glenmore Drive, the Glenmore Country Club, based on the finding that the approval criteria have been met as set forth in the staff report and the evidence presented, subject to the following condition. At the conclusion of the project, the applicant shall provide as-built drawings to ensure that construction was consistent with the approved plans.
Second.
This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. The public hearing is closed at 7:43 p.m. Thank you, and congratulations to the applicant. The next item of business is the City Council liaison assignments. The City Council members, in addition to serving on City Council, are also asked to represent the city with various internal city departments, to serve as a liaison, and also to interact with outside agencies and committees. These liaison assignments are also made by the council. We've communicated about this in the months leading up to this meeting. There are some suggestions on the dais in front of you, and I would entertain a motion to either make these liaison assignments as suggested, or if you'd like to suggest changes.
I move to approve the council liaison assignments as proposed on the dais.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Are there any comments, suggestions? Speak now or forever hold your peace. The one thing I would like to say is
So let me ask, so Al, you're going to stick with finance?
No.
You are now the.
Not according to this.
No.
Not according to mine. That's why I'm like.
Yours is the joke one. Yeah. We gave you the joke one. No, I don't.
Earl, you are now in charge of finance. I'm your backup.
Because after that great speech that Mayor Stewart gave, I don't know, we might want to.
6 years.
Yours, if you were looking in the packet,
yes,
your packet was the old one.
Oh, that was the old one.
On the dais tonight was given to us.
That was an example of yes. Okay. Okay.
And I do have a couple of other questions too, if I can. One was, because I can't remember Was it one time and it got changed, or maybe it never, was there a legal liaison at one point?
No.
No, okay.
No, that was a hard-fought discussion.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah, I just couldn't remember.
Madam Mayor, just
And
for
the other thing, which
oh, sorry.
doesn't go to approving these, did you want to say something? Okay. I don't know if anybody read the notes to the attachment, but it's recommended, so it's not required, but it's recommended, and there's a bunch of things on there that, in my experience, has never happened, or oftentimes never happened. And you guys know how I feel about having rules, regulations, and guidance that we just basically never do. So what do we think about that?
Oh, each city,
Each board commission prepare an annual work plan reviewed and approved by city council. I've been on a bunch of committees and councils, and they've never done it. The status reports, that's rarely happens, although it happens when there is something significant to be discussed. And then the regular joint sessions don't happen all that often, although again, they happen when, like, we had one with the master plan, at one point in time. So I guess the big thing is that annual work plan. I mean, I'd never even heard of that till I read this.
I do think that happened 12 years ago. And we used to have a rotation of people who would attend the city council meetings when I was on Parks, Trails, and Recreation Commission. But that's been a long time, and you're right, if we're not doing it that way anymore, perhaps we should look at this policy or the program.
And that was my point, which is, it doesn't have anything to do with the assignments, and we can go ahead and approve those, but then I was just going to make a recommendation that we look to revise this, what the hell is it called?
The policy for the liaison program.
Council liaison program.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, if I could just, we will just plan on putting the policy on a future agenda for council's consideration. That may not be the only topic. With that said, I would also ask for the benefit of the record, the videotape, and our audience members, if we could read the names.
Yes, okay. So the liaison assignments as suggested are as follows. For city departments and divisions, Community Development Department, the liaison will be Councilor Sheldon, alternate Earl Holen. Finance Division, Councilor Holen, alternate Blum. Parks and Trails Division, Councilman Eber, alternate McGuire. Police Department, Councilman Blum, alternate Eber. Public Works Department, Councilman Wheel, alternate Sheldon. Village Crier, Councilman McGuire, alternate Wheel. Outside agencies, Dr. Cog will be Councilman Wheel and alternate is Holen. CML Policy Committee is the mayor as the liaison, and the alternate is Councilman Eber. Arapahoe County Mayors and Managers is the mayor and the mayor pro tem as the alternate. The Arapahoe County Transportation Forum is Councilmember McGuire and Blum is the alternate. Highline Canal Collaborative Forum, Councilman Sheldon. McGuire is the alternate. Centennial Airport Noise Roundtable, Councilman Eber, the alternate is Wheel. Arapahoe County Regional Opioid Council is Councilor Blum, and the alternate is Sheldon. And if I could also just stress that these different organizations meet at different times. These are important organizations. There are many more that we could be part of or participate in. We're trying to be respectful, but they are important. The one that has come up for discussion, I don't know, Councilor Blum, if you wanted to mention anything.
Yeah, I've been the liaison for the Centennial Airport Noise Roundtable, and for the first 2 or 3 years, it was important. We were dealing with the Metroplex issue. It was brought to a head when there was a lawsuit filed by, I believe it was Greenwood and maybe one other community, which was summarily dismissed by the administrative law judge. And attending the meetings after that, we found that they every week or every time they have a meeting, they report on complaints for noise. And every meeting I attended, there was 0 complaints from Cherry Hills. Now, 90% of it, and the mayor and I talked about it, related to the training that goes on with the airport, takeoff and landings, which is really a centennial issue, and that would come up at every meeting. So my question, and I've raised this with the mayor, is I believe it's something that we should continue to support monetarily. I think we give them maybe $1,000 a year, and our participation, at least from the meetings I attended, is very minimal. So I don't know if it's something that we need to continue to attend. Rob Eber, Councilman Eber, I think you're selected to do that. You may attend some of the meetings, and you may come back after some of those meetings and say it's not worth it or it is worth it to attend that. We've followed the Metroplex. I don't think anything's going to happen with that. We do have, and if everybody follows, there are noise issues not from Centennial, but really from the DIA. And the flight pattern goes right over Cherry Hills if it's coming in from the southwest. I don't think there's anything can be done about that. I don't think it's anything that creates a noise interference with our lifestyle. But I think, Councilman Eber, if you attend those, I think you can report back to us if it's something worth attending. I do believe it's worth supporting because there may be issues that come up that may ultimately affect us.
Yes, there's a lovely article in The Villager written by a fabulous journalist, Miss Frida Micklin, I think is her name, about one of the most recent Centennial Airport Noise Roundtable meetings. I think, thank you for that, Al, and I think you're right. I think Cherry Hills Village needs to decide, the council needs to decide if we're going to continue to participate or not. If we're going to continue to participate, we need to participate. And if we're not, then we probably need to tell them that respectfully so that they don't keep wondering why we're not there. So if you would be willing to attend those meetings, and then you can perhaps report back to us if you feel that is something we need to continue to be involved in.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. So I believe there's a motion and a second on the table. Are there any other questions or comments, concerns?
Mayor, you have the Board of Adjustment. My name.
I think it's a separate action item, yeah. So
as the newbie, I guess my question is do both the liaison and the alternate go to each meeting?
no, it's just the liaison. The alternate attends if the liaison is not able to attend.
Okay, thank you.
Any others? Okay, seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of approving the council liaison assignments?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, that passes. Thank you very much. The next item of business is to appoint an alternate member to the Board of Adjustment and Appeals. I will entertain a nomination.
I move to approve Resolution 6, Series 2023, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Cherry Hills Village appointing Al Blum as the alternate member to the Board of Adjustment and Appeals.
Is there a second? Second. Is there anyone else who would like to arm wrestle Al for Board of Adjustment and Appeals? We could set it up right down here. All right.
I would like to say that, and I've said this before, although it's not as hard as it used to be because you never met that much, but I do still believe at the end of the day that the Board of Adjustment Appeals is the hardest job in the village for citizens, because basically the job is to say no to your neighbors, and it's exactly where this whole thing came in terms of an extreme remedy and extreme hardship and variance, et cetera. And it's a really, really tough thing to do. So good luck, Al.
Let me say this. I've appeared in front of that when you were the chair, and you were very, very difficult to work with.
All right. All those in favor of appointing Councilor Blum as the alternate member to the Board of Adjustment and Appeals?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, other than Al? Okay. The next item of business is commission vacancies. City Clerk Gillespie.
Good evening, Mayor Brown, members of City Council. Due to our newly elected officials, we do have a vacancy on the Planning and Zoning Commission and one on the Parks, Trails, and Recreation Commission. We have solicited applications through the crier, the website, social media. The deadline for that is January 20th. We currently have 5 applications, but we are still collecting them until that deadline. We are looking for 2 council members to volunteer to review the applications, interview the applicants, and make a recommendation to council for those appointments. So we'd be happy to
Mayor,
answer your
having served on P&Z, I'd volunteer to do the interview on that.
Okay, Councilor Blum for Planning and Zoning,
And I'm happy to do it as well if you'd like.
and Councilor Holen. Rob, you look like you're about to volunteer for something? For
I'm
Parks
happy.
and Trails?
Wherever you need me.
Okay.
Well, we were thinking of doing all the applicants together, as many of them are interested in serving on either commission. We also have some terms that'll be coming up in May that we might be able to pull from this applicant pool.
Well, then does it
Does
make
that
sense
change
then that
things?
Rob maybe joins Al because you've got a planning and zoning member and then you got a Parks and Trails member? I mean, I'm fine with that if that's.
Okay, that sounds great. Councilor Blum then and Councilor Ebert.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
Unless, Earl, would you like to do that? I did the last one, so.
No. Don't fight over it now, come on. Okay. Do we need to suspend this meeting or adjourn, or recess this meeting? And then, okay. So we will recess the city council meeting at 7:57 PM and call to order the meeting of the Cherry Hills Village Charlou Park Third Filing General Improvement District Board. Roll call of members, please.
Board Member Eber.
Present.
Board Member Holen.
Here.
Board Member Wheel.
Happy to be here.
Chairwoman Brown.
Here.
Board Member Sheldon.
Here.
Board Member Blum.
Here.
And Board Member McGuire.
Here. So we do have, really, we just have the consent agenda, but I noticed that there are members of this improvement district in the audience. We don't really have public participation, but would you like to make any comments? Are you, okay. If not, then I would entertain a motion to approve.
I'd like to remove the consent agenda, the minutes from the consent agenda, because there are 3 of us here who did not participate in that meeting, so we can't vote.
Correct, but we'll still have a quorum, right? 4 out of 7, so, yeah, okay. So I guess, yeah, okay, so we'll just the minutes or anything else that needs, just the minutes, okay. So then, move to approve the.
I move to approve 20B and C on the consent agenda.
Second.
The consent agenda has been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay.
Okay, and now moving on to the minutes.
I would make a motion to approve the minutes of the December 14th, 2022 meeting of the Charlou Park Third Filing General Improvement District Board.
Second.
Just to clarify, I can vote here. Yes, that's how we have our quorum. Great. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Yeah, I abstain.
And I'm assuming
Rob?
Rob and Susan also abstain?
Abstain. You're
Abstain.
not voting on this since you weren't at that meeting.
Okay.
Right?
Right. Okay.
Okay. So now 20's.
Okay. There's no unfinished business or new business. I hereby adjourn the meeting of the Cherry Hills Village Charlou Park Third Filing General Improvement District Board at 7:59 PM. And I call to order the meeting of the Cherry Hills Village Southmoor Circle and Hudson Parkway General Improvement District Board at 7:59 PM. Roll call, please.
Board Member Eber.
Yes.
Board Member Holen.
Here.
Board Member Wheel.
Happy to be here.
Chairwoman Brown.
Here.
Board Member Sheldon.
Here.
Board Member Blum.
Here.
Board Member McGuire.
Here. Thank you for coming.
Good night.
Good night.
I assume we will remove the minutes from the consent agenda here as well. Do I have a motion to approve the remaining consent agenda items?
So moved. Do we need-
Second.
We have a motion to approve the remaining consent agenda items. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And then moving on to the minutes.
I move to approve 27A, the approval of minutes.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Abstain.
Abstain. Thank you. There is no unfinished business, no new business. I hereby adjourn the meeting of the Cherry Hills Village, Southmoor Circle, and Hudson Parkway General Improvement District Board. And I reconvene the meeting, that's at 8:01, and I reconvene the meeting of the Cherry Hills Village City Council at 8:01 p.m. For reports. For the mayor's report, since it is snowing and everyone's left, I will keep it brief. First of all, I would just like to say hi to Alice and Fred Abrams. If you're watching, we really, really miss you and hope that you're doing well. I also would like to note that it's very hard not to vote on things for the first time in 10 years. But in all seriousness, I want to thank everyone, thank the citizens of Cherry Hills Village for this opportunity. I'm really looking forward to working with this group of people. I think we have a lot of opportunities moving forward, and I trust that all of us will work together in the best interest of Cherry Hills Village. And most importantly, I'd like to thank the citizens of Cherry Hills Village for putting your trust in me. I promise to strive every day to be worthy of that. I have already attended this past weekend the retreat for the Metro Mayor's Caucus. That is a very active and lively group. It was interesting getting to know a lot of the other mayors of the surrounding district, and I feel that we will probably be working very closely with them in the coming months. So looking forward to that. Otherwise, that's the end of my report. Members of City Council, I know we used to just start at one end and go, but I'm going to start, we're just going to kind of rotate it. I'm going to start with Mayor Pro Tem.
Well, thank you. Well, first of all, thank you, council members, and Katie, for the trust of being Mayor Pro Tem. I will work hard to justify that, continue to justify your trust. Nothing going on in my part of the city. Dr. Cog meetings, been to, the RTC, and we have a board meeting tomorrow night. Probably the most interesting part of it, there's been a lot of procedural things, delays of projects and approvals of those and changing this rule and that rule. But there's just released a 2021 annual report on roadway traffic congestion in the Denver region. And it's kind of an interesting read. If you'd like, I can probably round up copies for whoever would like one. But by and large, the headlines are things like we have almost climbed back to pre-COVID levels of congestion. They look out not just at current congestion levels, but also looking out to 2050. And I think the catchphrase was 2 o'clock will be like 5 o'clock is now in terms of traffic congestion around the city. So difficult situation for sure. And the solutions are not real easy, but it doesn't look like it's going to get better at the moment. But anyway, anybody that's interested, let me know. And that's that. Otherwise, the rest of the projects really were elsewhere in the metropolitan area, so nothing all that newsworthy. That's the end of my report.
And then I'll jump to this side.
Thank you, Mayor. 2 quick things. I believe construction may have started at Holly and Quincy today on the Denver Water Project. I know it was scheduled to. I don't know if it actually happened.
Yes, construction started today. It'll probably be delayed a little bit. So this week was off and on, one-lane traffic, both directions. Starting next Monday will be northbound traffic on Holly will be shut down for about a month.
Okay. Very good. Well, thanks for getting everyone prepared for it. I know it's been out on social media and all through our regular channels. My only other thing, Chief Lyons, I wanted to commend your department. The report in the back of our package shows that there were a grand total of 6 cases from the month of December. And that you guys have been investigating or that are maybe either active or that you reported to us, let's call it that way. That is down. I'm not saying this is exactly the case. If you want to speak to it, that's fine. But from what I gather, looking at these reports twice a month for the last 6 years, that's down dramatically from where we usually see them. We usually see a couple of pages of various home intrusions or car break-ins or stuff like that. So to have just 4 line items, a grand total of 6 items, that says something about what you're doing with your department. So thank you.
And then I'll jump back over here to Councilor Holen.
I'd just like to actually echo the mayor's comments. I'd like to thank the citizens of Cherry Hills for putting their trust in me again, and hopefully I'm worthy of doing that. I really look forward to working with this group. Everybody here I've worked with or consulted with at times, some more than others, but and I'm really looking forward to working with this group. It's going to be fun, and it's going to be challenging and educational for me, I'm sure. Other than that, I do have some questions when the staff reports come up, but I'll save those for when that happens. Well, I guess one other thing. I'm doing it already, and you guys know me a bit. I mean, I just tend to roll. And one of the things that I feel very strongly about, I almost can't believe I forgot this. I do believe, as we all do, but I believe very strongly in transparency. And for instance, the question that I asked on the floodplain variance, I could have easily just called Paul up and gotten the answer to that question, and I brought it up here. And it's always a fine line, but I'm going to do it because I think it's important that the community see what we're doing, that my fellow councilmen have the opportunity to see those kinds of questions. And so more often than not, my default is to bring them up here rather than there. There are other times I asked the city council a question that was on here that I could have brought up, but I thought, no, this one's not. I'll just get the answer to this and won't waste the time. But I really feel very strongly about that the deliberation and the discussion is an important thing up on this dais and amongst us. And you can count on me that's what I'm going to do. I guess the other thing that I hope is that and just a slight little bit, but the level of formality amongst our discussions drops a little bit. Obviously, the mayor and I have absolute confidence in our mayor to manage this process. It's at her discretion. One of the things that I've always struggled with watching these council sessions for the last time is when it goes down the line and topic A gets discussed here, and then B, and then C, and then back to A, and then B, and then back to A. That's very disjointed, and I think that it takes away from the collegial cooperative and generative discussion process that can take place. So I'm hoping that we can, when somebody raises something and somebody else has got a comment on it, we get in and we talk about that. So anyway, that's just my comments. And again, I'm really, really pleased to be here and looking forward to working with everybody.
And then I'll jump back over here, Councilor Blum.
I have no report, but I would like to welcome the new council members. I know we've worked with Earl in the past, and we were forewarned about his speeches. But I do want to welcome the new council members, all 3 of you, and look forward to working with you.
Councilor Eber.
Thank you. I did want to congratulate my other fellow new council people and our new mayor. Congratulations. I wanted to thank all of the voters for entrusting me into this position. I will work very hard to do my job well, and I hope that I am able to do that. I think that I will make many mistakes, but at the same time, I hope that the discussions that we have will be fruitful and will lead to good results on behalf of the city. Coming off of PTRC, I guess I don't know if I have to formally resign or not, but it was very enjoyable to be on PTRC, and I look forward to being the liaison there as well. Again, thank you.
That's a good question. Do we need any kind of formal resignation? No. Okay. And then last but not least, Councilmember McGuire.
I'm excited to be here, and I want to thank the people who voted for me. And I guess my goal is to make fewer mistakes than Rob does.
Not hard. Not hard at all.
I look forward to working with everybody here. I think that we've got a good group here. And I don't have any reports yet to make, so.
What? Really? You have 10 whole minutes? Yeah. City manager and staff.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Normally, I let staff go first and I back clean up. Tonight, actually, I'm reversing that order. I do have a few comments. First of all, I believe we just did get direction from Councilmember McGuire to create a scoreboard with mistakes, and I kid. First of all, to our new council members, welcome. I am very excited to work with each of you. The good news is you are coming into a group that is already performing at a very high level, and it is so much easier to come into a circumstance like that than when there's issues and whether it be among council members or issues that the council is facing. To come into a group that's already performing at a high level, well done, good timing. But I also am excited to work with you. Over the next few weeks, you're going to start receiving quite a bit of information. I believe Laura's going to have quite a bit of information for the committees that you're on. You'll be getting contact information. You'll be getting agenda invites. You now have a city email. You might now start hearing from residents. We will be sending you information as well. You'll be hearing from me because I'm going to be scheduling one-on-one meetings with all of you. So we have intentionally tried to keep you, you weren't formally in the seat yet. You hadn't taken the oath, so we tried to keep you as such. But now that you have, welcome. Number two, it is the start of the legislative session. I believe that was a week and a half ago. I do want council to know that at a staff level, we are paying attention to that like we always do. I can give council and the community a heads up. There are going to be a number of legislative efforts put forward that are going to, given the current political makeup of both chambers of the legislature, there is likely going to be some efforts underway that are going to attempt to take advantage of the numbers that exist regarding Democrats and Republicans. And some of those are going to inevitably start to try and preempt local government in a variety of arenas, not just any one. You may have been reading about or hearing in CPR, for example, some discussions about zoning reform. There's going to be other issues related to, we just got one today about micro trenching. There's going to be probably handicap accessibility issues. All of these are going to probably attempt to preempt or prevent or supersede local regulations. So I would like council to know that staff is diligently paying attention to this, and we will be engaging you, especially when we know more details about what might be proposed. But we are attempting to get out ahead of this so that we can actively look out for the interests of Cherry Hills Village residents. Number three, you may have heard it started snowing since we've all been in the building. I can tell you we've all been monitoring the situation. Every school district is closed already for tomorrow. They've all, speaking of preempting, they've all preemptively closed tomorrow. There are quite a few cities that have closed. We are going to be open tomorrow. However, we are going to be open remotely. So we're still going to be accessible. We're still going to be able to do pretty much every bit of business that we can do. We just won't be able to open the front doors. So heads up on that. Lastly, you will hear me, especially for the new council members, you will hear me talk quite a bit about our team, about our staff, and what a great job they do often. And it is my belief that part of the reason that this is such an amazing place to work is because of the quiet, behind-the-scenes work that our staff does to help make it that way. And when that happens, I think it's important that we recognize those efforts. And so I'd like to congratulate two members of our staff tonight who have been promoted. Paul Workman has been promoted to Community Development Director, and Emily Black. And Emily Black has been promoted to Parks Project and Operations Manager. These promotions are not in a vacuum. Both of them had major milestone years last year, and they really proved that they are stepping up to the plate and taking what an amazing team that we already have and helping us achieve that next level. And so I think it's important to recognize those kinds of efforts. So to both of you, congratulations. You both deserve it. Well done. So that's
was the big things that they had last year, the fact that both Paul and Emily had to work with me so much?
I think for finance, we've called that hazard pay is what we call that. I kid. So that is the conclusion of my remarks. I do reserve the right to add anything in case I forgot it after we all speak. So Jay?
Good evening. I look forward to working with the new council. Be careful when you do leave here. We have salted the walks already, but it is slick out there. And just a reminder and a refresher, if you see anything in the field, let us know. Please don't hesitate to call, whether it's snow removal, parks and trails issues. You can call me with the police issues. We'll figure them out. But we rely on you guys as council and our residents to call us because our staff is so small. We can't be everywhere at once. If we missed a street plowing, pick up the phone, give us a call. We'll get out there and do what we can as quick as we can. But we're always here. Questions, comments from residents, forward them to us, and we will take care of those as quickly as we can. So that's my report.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Welcome to the new councilors. I'm looking forward to working with you, and congratulations, Mayor Brown. Really looking forward to working with you as well. I do have a quick report, and I can send this out to council because I know this is kind of catching you at the last.
Well, we're going to watch a movie instead.
Okay. Well, I wanted to give council and the mayor an update regarding a plan that we've been developing with the city attorney's office, and that is how to implement 2A. As you know, the residents did approve a sales tax code update, and now the city needs to update that municipal code. So we do have a plan that we're formulating that will formally update the code. So some of that will be operational, but some of that will obviously involve your review of certain ordinances that will be coming before you, likely to start in March. So we've developed kind of a timeline and an outline of the process. Sorry that hasn't gone up on the screen, but I will send that out to everyone, and please let me know if you have any questions about that. Again, it's just general, and it might change as we go along, but just to communicate that we are working on that.
When you say start in March, do you mean approve ordinances starting in March, or that the sales tax collection would start in March?
You will start to review and hopefully approve some of those ordinances in March.
Doug, when do we join the state collection system? Is that after the ordinance is adopted, or can we join it now?
We have to join the SET system, the state system, afterward. The city council needs to look at specifically exemptions, and there might be certain sales tax exemptions that you want to totally exempt from sales tax, and the state needs that information before they can implement and add the city. So the city can't join SETs until that's been done.
And real quick,
formal agreement at that point?
Just to add on to that real quick, in addition to getting our legal and our code set up to be able to join SETs, just as a heads up, one of our major efforts is to understand organizationally and structurally what we need to have in place so that as we start getting these remittances, we have a record-keeping system, we have contact information, all of which we have none today. So it will likely involve the procurement of some software to assist us in this, a creation of a framework or a system to track all of this. And so before we can go live, quote unquote, with the SET system, we have a lot of heavy lifting at a staff level to do before we can flip that switch.
Chris,
So is there an agreement, a contract that we sign?
An IGA.
There's an
IGA.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the cherry on top, I think, is what Chris is saying.
Yeah, that'll be the end of a long, hard road.
Chris, when I was doing the homework on SUTs, it seemed like it was a many-month project from the time one contacted until we were approved. Is there anything we can do to start the ball rolling so that we don't have a bunch of queue time in front of us?
Yeah, that's actually the purpose of Doug's discussion with you tonight, is to let you know that process has already started. So
Okay.
we've identified 4 major areas of, or 4 tracks of tasks and efforts. There is some sequencing that we have to do. For example, we have to do our ordinance changes first before we can then do the IGA with SUTS. But that's all been created. I think our goal was to actually show you a Gantt chart tonight, laying all that out, showing you we've actually completed a fair number of steps already. As you can see, we're having the old proverbial technical issues. So, but yeah, that, Councilor Wheel, I appreciate you asking it, because that really is the purpose of what Doug's trying to highlight for you tonight.
And if I could just weigh in, I just received notice, I haven't even reviewed, but there's some legislation that may impact SUTs. They may be tweaking some of that, so stay tuned. That may require some flex, and whatever is provided to you on this timeline, we'll just have to see.
All right, more to come, more details I'll send out tomorrow. Thank you.
I just wanted to say welcome to the new council members. I'm looking forward to working with all of you, but I have no report.
I do have one question, Emily, because the last time I met with you as part of the land preserve, we'd asked the question about the lease with Jerry Neff, and at that time it wasn't signed. Did it get signed without change?
It did. Council approved it at the December meeting, so that lease now runs through March 31st.
Okay, so it did. Okay, great. Perfect. Thanks.
Good evening. I am down here, by the way. I'm really struggling with my new seat. At the risk of being redundant, just want to say congratulations again to the new council. I look forward to building upon those relationships that we've built over the last few months. Just 2 quick things. One is over the last few months, I've teased a lot of new initiatives within the police department. I'm proud to say that those are all now underway. Perhaps most importantly is our new staffing model, which essentially doubled the number of officers on any given shift patrolling the streets of our city. Secondly, to Councilor Sheldon's point on crime, I've been waiting for, the new council, but really the new year. Starting February, when you get January's monthly report, you will see that our report looks different. What you will find is that there will be a rate of change around crime. I think what's really important for council to recognize is where are we at in comparison to the same time last year as sort of a baseline. Are we up in crime, certain types of crime? Are we down in certain types of crime? Are we up in crashes? Are we down with crashes? So you will see more of a chart and illustrative graphs that essentially designate the rate of crime and whether that rate of change is positive or negative on some of the things that we're doing. So just in preparation for our next monthly report, just recognize that it will look different, certainly more simplified, and really capturing the things I think council would want to know, and certainly available for any feedback after that first report. If there's something that I'm not capturing that you might have interest in, happy to change and modify that report to meet your needs. Thank you.
Got just a couple of questions for the chief. Actually, not questions, but one comment. I really like the communications that are going out with regard to advising residents to lock their cars, to lock their doors. I mean, it's terrific, because I feel very strongly that education is probably the biggest thing we can do to reduce crime, because almost all the time it's unlocked. I mean, you see it over and over in your reports, but it's really been great, the stuff through the email and the texts and the crier. It's really terrific. The other thing, which, and as we know in our ordinances, from time to time we have big, broad changes and we update them and what have you, but we know that that's a job that it's always ongoing. And I noticed in your report that you have a drone now, and I think our section 7730, 7740 needs to be changed. It basically exempts him from the registration requirements. It does not exempt them from the operational requirements, and I can't imagine that we expect the police department to adhere to those operational requirements. So I think we need to change that ordinance.
Yeah, and certainly, just for the record, we have a draft policy on that issue and draft ordinance change language. The operational piece of the UAS won't be until spring at best, probably summer, before our pilots are trained. So we have been working with other jurisdictions that have similar ordinances to draft model language for proposed changes.
So that'll be what we'll utilize to change our ordinances.
Correct.
Terrific.
Essentially having an exemption for law enforcement purposes.
That's great. Yeah, because when you read that, you go, it's kind of strange. And by the way, one other thing, I was remiss when I was giving my thanks and looking forward to working with council. I'm really looking forward to working with staff again. Everybody here, other than Chief Lyons, who I've had extensive working relationship with, and I'm looking forward to an extensive building that with you. I don't know how the rest of you all feel. I know Laura's already gotten some emails from me, and I could just see her going, "He's back." But I really look forward to working with, as the mayor said, and as the city manager said, the finest city staff, in the area, if not the state. So, thank you.
I thought you were saying you were remiss in saying you were excited to work with us.
I think I already said that.
What, yeah?
Just welcome again, no formal report. Please drive home safely.
Laura, anything? No. Thank you for this is a big meeting for you, so thank you for a job well done for all of that, keeping us all together. And with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Anybody opposed? Thanks. I close the meeting at 8:27 p.m. Our first meeting.